Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to another video of Logy of Bios. In the previous two videos, we have completely discussed about the anatomy of digestive tract, and today we shall discuss about the digestive glands. So, without further delay, let's start. Now, digestive glands. Glands are a special organ in human or animal body which are able to secrete any particular chemical substances. These chemical substances can be hormones or enzymes or anything. Okay, so glands are particular organ in human body which can secrete particular chemical substances. So there are two types of glands. Okay, first one is our endocrine gland. Okay, see, first one is endocrine. Here, endocrine, and second is exocrine. Endocrine are glands without duct or pipe or tubes, and exocrine are the glands which are with ducts or pipes or tubes. Lots of students gets confused about endocrine and exocrine. Remember it by a shortcut that endo. Okay, endo means inside. Everyone knows that endo means inside. So just think, just imagine it that endocrine glands are situated within the targeted organ or cells. Now what is targeted organ? Now targeted organ is the organ where these chemical substances needs to go and react. Okay, the place where this chemical substance will go and react is known as targeted site. Clear? So endocrine glands, just think they are situated inside the targeted gland. Therefore they can directly secrete, okay, they can directly secrete their chemical substances into them. They do not need any special type of duct or tubes or pipe, so they are ductless gland. Now exocrine, exo means outside, everyone knows that. Now exocrine are the glands which are not situated, just think it, they are not situated inside the targeted gland. They are far away from the target. Exo means away, exo means outside. Okay, just think it, they are far away. Therefore, they directly cannot secrete their chemical substances into the targeted organ. So, they need special duct or pipe or tube which can secrete their chemical substance into the targeted organ. Clear? Now, digestive gland includes the salivary gland, the pancreas, the liver, the gastric glands, and the intestinal gland. Okay. Now, out of these, salivary gland, pancreas, and liver are the major glands, and there are some minor glands also. So, we will discuss each of them separately. So, first one is salivary gland. Now, see, saliva is purely water. This percent is water, purely water, and only 0.5% it contains solutes. Okay, it is 99.5% water, but 0.5% it has solutes like sodium, calcium, potassium, bicarbonate, phosphate. These are some solutes. Okay, now see, cooked starch. This cooked starch digestion starts in mouth due to salivary amylase. Salivary amylase is also known as alpha amylase or ptyalin. Ptyalin is another name for salivary amylase. Now see, there are four basic types of enzymes. Four basic types of enzyme. First one is carbohydrase. As the name suggests, it acts on carbohydrate. Next one is proteinase. It acts on protein. Next is lipase. Lipase acts on lipids or fats. And finally, nuclease acts on nucleic acid. Okay, just remember that this ACE is a surname for the whole group of saliva, for the whole group of enzymes. The enzymes have a title known as ACE. Carbohydrates, protease, fattiase, lipase, these are ACE. Okay, they have the title ACE. So now see, this salivary amylase is a special type of carbohydrates. Therefore, it acts on carbohydrate. And why salivary? Because it is secreted by salivary gland, therefore known as salivary amylase. Okay, and it acts on cooked starch. Now daily we produce between 0.5 to 1.5 liters of saliva. This is our daily production of saliva. Now there are 3 pairs of salivary gland. Therefore altogether 6. 3 pair means 6. So first one is PG or parotid gland. Okay, see, this one is the PG or parotid gland, the first one. It is the largest gland, but it only secretes 20% of the total saliva. It only secretes 20% of the total saliva. It also secretes parotid hormone. Okay, parotid hormone is also secreted by PG or parotid gland. And ptyalin is another name for salivary amylase. See this ptyalin is another name for this salivary amylase. Okay, salivary amylase or alpha amylase is also known as ptyalin. Now the parotid gland has a duct known as duct of Stenson. Duct of Stenson is a duct of the parotid gland. Now it opens near the second upper molar. Okay, see here, this is the parotid gland, this one. Okay, this one is the parotid gland, and duct of Stenson is coming out from here. It is coming out and it is coming out and opening somewhere near here. Is opening here, and this must be near second upper molar. Okay, how to remember this? Remember St. Peter. Saint Peter was the first pope. Okay, Saint Peter was the first pope. He was the direct disciple of Christ, and most probably King John crucified him. Okay, so remember St. Peter, Saint Peter. Okay, Stenson parotid, St. Peter, Stenson parotid. Okay, St. Peter. So the next type of gland is our submandibular gland. Now see this subword. This word is sub. Subword is generally used to refer to any object or anything or any gland or any tissue which is just below something. Sub means below or near. Okay, sub means below or near. So submandibular. Therefore, it means it is below the mandible. Submandibular means it is below the mandible. Now, mandible is the lower jawbone. Okay, this lower jawbone, this one is known as mandible. Okay, and submandibular because it is just below the mandible. Okay, just below the mandible, therefore known as submandibular. Okay, and this upper jaw is known as maxilla. This is lower jaw is mandible, which we are able to move, and the upper one is maxilla. Okay, so submandibular gland is just near or below the mandible, therefore known as submandibular. It is second largest. SMG is second largest, secretes 70% of the saliva, and also secrete mucus. Mucus helps in lubrication of food. Lubrication means it allows the food to move easily, pass easily. Okay, now duct of Wharton. This gland has the duct known as duct of Wharton. It opens near lower central incisor near lingual frenulum. If you remember, lingual frenulum was a fold of mucous membrane which joins the apex of the tongue to the basement of the mouth. Okay, lingual frenulum joins apex of the tongue to the basement of the mouth. So this duct of Wharton opens just beneath the lingual frenulum. See, this is the SMG. This one is the SMG. Duct is coming out, duct of Wharton, and it is opening somewhere near here. And this portion is near our lingual frenulum. Okay. So the next one, and remember that Wharton is subman. Wharton is subman. Okay, Wharton submandibular. Wharton is subman. Okay. Now next one is sublingual. So lingua is tongue and sub means below. Therefore sublingual means just below the tongue. It secretes very less saliva. Secretes mucus. It secretes mucus for easy swallowing of food. Okay, mucus helps in lubrication of food. Okay, it has the duct known as duct of Rivinus. Duct of Rivinus opens just beneath the tongue. Near the tongue is just beneath the tongue. Okay, this is SLG. This one is SLG. Okay, sublingual gland, and duct of Rivinus is opening just beneath the tongue. Okay, so remember that sublingual Rivinus. Okay, sublingual Rivinus. First we got Stenson parotid, St. Peter, Stenson parotid. Next Wharton is subman, Wharton submandibular, Wharton submandibular. Okay, and finally sublingual Rivinus. Okay, clear? Okay, let's proceed to our next slide. Now gastric glands. Now gastric glands can be divided on the basis of their location. If they are located in the fundic region, okay, fundic region of the stomach, they are known as fundic gland. If they are located in the cardiac region of the stomach, they are known as cardiac gland. If they are located in the pyloric region of the stomach, they are known as pyloric gland. Okay, now listen very carefully, very carefully. There are 3 plus 2 types of gastric cells. Gastric glands contains 3 plus 2 types of gastric cells. Okay, amongst them the first one is our chief cells. Chief cell is our first one. Our first one is chief cell. Why they are called chief? Because chief means main. So they are the main enzyme producing cells of the gastric gland. therefore known as chief cells. Why zymogenic? Why they are known as zymogenic cell? Because they secrete two proenzymes. Proenzymes are primitive form of enzymes, or inactive form of enzymes are known as proenzymes, and proenzymes are called zymogen. Therefore, these cells are known as zymogenic cells. Now, two zymogen which they secrete are pepsinogen and prorenin. Okay, pepsinogen and prorenin are converted into pepsin and renin. Pepsin and renin in the gastric pit, and HCl converts them. Clear? Pepsinogen and prorenin are converted into pepsin and renin respectively by HCl in the gastric pit. Okay, and this renin production stops in adult mammal. Why? We will discuss in our next video why this renin production stops in adult mammal. Okay, and this pepsinogen has autocatalytic property, means it can catalyze itself. Okay, once some amount of pepsin is formed, the rest pepsinogen can be converted into pepsin by pepsin only. Okay, this is called autocatalytic property. Okay, we will discuss this in the physiology of digestion in our next video. Okay, don't worry. Now they also secrete two enzymes in small amount, but they secrete. They are gastric lipase and gastric amylase. If you remember, amylase is a special type of carbohydrates which acts on carbohydrate or starch, and lipase acts on lipids or fats. Okay, and why gastric? Because these are secreted by gastric cell. Previously we found amylase in the salivary gland, which was secreted by salivary gland, therefore known as salivary amylase. Now secreted by gastric gland, therefore known as gastric amylase and gastric lipase. So chief cell or zymogenic cell secrete four things. One is pepsinogen, one is prorenin, one is gastric lipase, gastric amylase. Clear? So the next one is our parietal cells. Okay, parietal cells is our next one. See, this is the parietal cell. They are the largest type of cells. You can see this all the diagrams. So they are known as oxentic cell. Why oxentic? Oxentic because they are stained with eosin. They can easily be stained with eosin. Now eosin is a special type of acid which is used for staining. Now if you have studied about WBC, there is a special cell known as eosinophil. Okay, phil means love or attract. So eosinophil is a type of WBC which loves eosin. That means it take up eosin stain, therefore known as eosinophil. Okay, that is in case of WBC. And in stomach there is a special type of cell known as parietal cells. They also take this eosin. Okay, therefore known as oxentic cell. And why they are parietal? Because they lie across the basement membrane, and they are the largest cell. Parietal cells are the largest cell. Now they secrete two main things. One is gastric acid. Gastric acid is HCl, and intrinsic factor. Now gastric acid, they directly do not secrete the gastric acid. Okay, they cannot make HCl inside them, because if the cells produce HCl inside them, then there is a chance that these cells may get damaged. So they produce H plus ion and Cl minus ion, and this H plus ion and Cl minus ion are released separately into the gastric pit, and then in the gastric pit this H plus ion and Cl minus ion together combines and forms HCl. Okay, and as the walls are mucosified, that means covered with mucus gel layer, therefore no harm occurs to the cells. Clear? And its intrinsic factor we have discussed it in the previous video, intrinsic and extrinsic factor. So if you have not watched it, go to our playlist and please watch it. Now the third type of cell. Okay, now the third type of cell is this one, foveolar cell. This is our third type of cells. Okay, these are also known as goblet cells or mucus cells. They secrete mucus gel layer. Okay, now see, there are two mucus cell. One is surface mucus cell, one is neck mucus cell. Okay, surface mucus cell are on the surface of the glands and they produce mucus, and neck mucus cell on the neck region and they also produce mucus. Okay, so these were the three types of cells. Now there are two more. 3 plus 2, two more. Okay, now our fourth one is this one. This one is enteroendocrine cell. This one is our fourth one. Enteroendocrine cells are fourth one. Now remember, there are enteroendocrine cells of the stomach as well as of the pancreas. In pancreas we call them islet of Langerhans, and in stomach we call them gastric cells in the stomach. Okay, why gastric? Because they secrete gastrin hormone, and gastrin hormone actually stimulates gastric glands to release gastric juices. Gastrin hormone stimulates gastric glands to release gastric juices. Therefore, they are known as gastric cells. Okay, gastrin cells, and therefore they are also short formed G cells. G cells are the short form of gastrin cells. They are also known as argentaffin cell. Why argentaffin? Now, if you know that argentum in Latin means silver, therefore we got the symbol of silver as Ag, argentum. Okay, and affin, affin means affinity, to love. So these cells take up argentum or silver stain, therefore known as argentaffin cell. Clear? Now they secrete many things. First one is serotonin, which stimulates smooth muscle. Next one is somatostatin. It suppresses the release of hormones from digestive tract. Next is histamine. Histamine dilates the walls of blood vessels. Okay, histamine dilates the walls of blood vessels. Next one is gastrin. They also secrete gastrin, which stimulates gastric glands to release gastric juices. Finally, they secrete cholecystokinin. Okay, and what is cholecystokinin we will discuss in the upcoming slides. Okay, so these were the four types of cells, and the last type of cells are known as stem cells or progenitor cells. Now these stem cells are actually the cells which are undifferentiated, and they replace the worn out cells. Okay, so these were the five types of cells. The four main and stem cells are the fifth type. Clear? So see the diagrams and read this chart once more. Okay, and we will discuss the hormones and the enzymes in our next video, physiology of digestion. Okay, so don't worry about it. Now liver is the largest gland, everyone knows that, but largest organ is skin. Liver is the largest gland, but largest organ is skin. Now the weight of liver is given 1.4 to 1.8, and in female it is given in males and females. Okay, just go upon it. Now liver is divided into two lobes, right and left. Okay, and divided by the falciform ligament. So see, this one is the falciform ligament, which is dividing right and left lobes. Okay, right lobe is further divided into three parts: the right lobe proper, quadrate lobe, and quadrate lobe. So this right lobe proper, quadrate lobe, and quadrate lobe. These are the three parts of the liver. Okay, now each lobule is covered by a thin connective tissue sheath called Glissen's capsule. Okay, this is important. Now what is Glissen's capsule? Glissen's capsule is each lobule is covered by a thin connective tissue sheath. Okay, remember this thin connective tissue sheath, which is known as Glissen's capsule. Okay. Next one, mammalian liver also contains Kupffer cells, which are phagocytic cells, eat out worn RBCs and WBCs and bacteria. Okay, nothing to worry about it. So now comes the main part. See, this is the right hepatic duct, right lobe of liver, liver. Therefore, this is the right hepatic duct. Okay, hepa means liver, hepa means liver. So right hepatic duct, and this one is the left hepatic duct. Okay, so from the right lobe, right hepatic duct, from the left lobe, left hepatic duct, they together forms a common hepatic duct. Okay, now this is the gallbladder. Okay, gallbladder or gall sac or bile sac. Now it has the duct known as cystic duct. Duct of gallbladder is known as cystic duct. Okay, so this cystic duct also mixes with the common hepatic duct and forms the common bile duct. Clear? Cystic duct mixes with the common hepatic duct and forms the common bile duct. This bile duct has a sphincter here, known as sphincter of Boyden. Here is a sphincter. Sphincter is a ring of circular muscle which allows the entry or exit of any material. Okay, now this sphincter is known as sphincter of Boyden, and after this sphincter, this common bile duct opens into this ampulla of water. This is known as ampulla of water. Okay, so remember this, and we will discuss this in our next slides. Okay, don't worry. Now gallbladder. See, gallbladder is a small sac-shaped organ beneath the liver. It stores biles and it releases it when we need it. Okay, so it has the parts known as, see, this body, this is the body, and this is the fundus, top fundus, then body, and finally neck. The duct from gallbladder is known as cystic duct. Okay, Now this is the right hepatic duct, this is the left hepatic duct, together forming common hepatic duct. Common hepatic duct with the cystic duct together forming a common bile duct. Common bile duct having the sphincter of Boyden opening into hepatopancreatic ampulla or ampulla of water. Okay, we will discuss it later. So now functions of bile. See, bile does not contain any enzyme. Okay, bile does not contain any enzyme. Bile comprises of bile salts, bile pigments, cholesterol and phospholipid. Okay, now hepatic bile pH is 8.6. See, the 8.6 it is pH, and liver secretes about 500 to 1000 ml of bile every day. Now bile salts, they are sodium bicarbonate, sodium taurocolate and sodium glycocolate. Okay, these bile salts helps in emulsification of fat. Okay, emulsification of fat are helped by bile salts. Okay, now what is emulsification of fat? We will discuss it in our next video, physiology of digestion. For now, just know it that it is breaking of fats. Okay, emulsification is breaking of fats. Now functions of bile. So bile helps in absorption of fat, therefore they also help in absorption of fat soluble substances like vitamin ADEK. Okay, ADAK, absorption of ADEK. Clear? Now bile is alkali, therefore it neutralizes excess stomach acid. Okay, stomach acid is gastric acid which is known as HCl. Okay, so bile neutralizes it. Next, bile salts actually kills many bacteria and microbes. Okay, bile salts kills many bacteria and microbes. Finally, we have bile has no enzyme but it activates enzyme lipase. Bile has no enzyme but it activates enzyme lipase. Lipase acts on fat or lipids. Okay, lipase acts on lipids. Now it increases peristalsis of intestine. Bile also increases peristalsis of intestine. Clear? Now gallbladder. Gallbladder is the sac-shaped organ, and I told you to I will discuss this cholecystokinin. Okay, we found it in the enteroendocrine cells of the stomach. CCK or CCK-PZ. It is known as CCK or CCK-PZ. Now in Greek, chole means bile, cysto means sac, and kinin means move. Therefore known as move the bile sac. Clear? So it helps in contraction of gallbladder and deliver bile. Okay, it helps in contraction of gallbladder and deliver bile. Our liver is continuously producing bile and our body cannot waste it, because when there is no food in our intestine, if we release bile, it will be wasted. So this gallbladder stores the bile until the food is reached to intestine. Okay, now cholelithiasis is a condition in which stones happen in gallbladder. Okay, gallbladder stones are called cholelithiasis, and surgical removal of gallbladder is known as cholecystectomy. Chole means bile, cysto means sac, bile sac or gallbladder, and tomy means cutting. Okay, so cholecystectomy is surgical removal of gallbladder. Okay, now next is question of the day, quiz 3. I have the largest tongue among all animals. Researchers believe that my call can be heard from 1,000 miles. I can hold my breath 20 minutes. My vomit is sometimes used in perfumes. Tell me, who am I? So answer in the comment below. I think this is easy. I think this is the easiest question of the three, because you can get the hint from my call can be heard from 1,000 miles. Okay, so let's see who give correct answers. So now time for answers. Quiz 2. I have the largest brain among land animals. My families are called herds. I love water. I can peel banana and some other foods. I live almost as long as you, but I am scared of dogs. Tell me, who am I? So correct answer is elephant. See, elephant has the largest brain. Okay, elephant has the largest brain because see the skull, it has the largest brain, and its family is called herds. Group of elephant is called herd. It loves water. Elephant loves water. It can peel banana with the help of its trunk, and it is a fact that it is scared of dog, and it lives almost as long as us, means 70 to 80 years, and it is scared of dogs. Okay, so correct answer is elephant. Clear? So now pancreas. Pancreas is a heterocrine gland. Heterocrine means endocrine plus exocrine both together forms a heterocrine. It is 60 gram in weight and about 12 to 15 semi long. Okay, it is about 12 to 15 semi long, and it has two parts. Okay, two parts. One has the endocrine part and one has the exocrine part. Okay, so see, these are lobules. Okay, see, these are lobules. Lobules are units of pancreas. Now pancreas can be divided into head. Head is this region, head, then body is this region, and tail, this final portion is tail. And there sometimes this region is referred to as neck. Okay, neck, this region is sometimes referred to as neck. Head, neck, body, tail. Okay, now this is the right hepatic duct, left hepatic duct, now common hepatic duct, this is gallbladder, and this is cystic duct, which is together with common hepatic duct forms the common bile duct. Okay, common bile duct. Now can you name two organisms without gallbladder? Okay, name two organisms without gallbladder. Comment. Okay, two organism, those who do not have gallbladder. Clear? Okay, now see, there are two ducts of pancreas. Pancreas has two ducts. One is duct of Wirsung and main duct. This main duct, bigger duct, is known as duct of Wirsung. Duct of Wirsung is the main duct. Okay, and there is one more duct known as accessory pancreatic duct, known as duct of Santorini. Now this one, this is accessory pancreatic duct. The smaller one is known as duct of Santorini. And previously in our mouth we found three glands, salivary gland, three pairs of salivary gland and three pairs of ducts. They were stipitous, tension parotid, Wharton subman, Wharton submandibular, and then sublingual revenous. And now we got main duct of pancreas, which is the bigger duct known as duct of Wirsung, and accessory pancreatic duct, duct of Santorini, which is accessory or smaller duct. Clear? Now, pancreas is made up of small clusters of glandular epithelial cells. It is about 99% of clusters are called acini. Acini constitute the exocrine part. They secrete pancreatic juices. Pancreatic juices are the richest juice. They have the maximum number of enzymes. Okay, and pH is 6.8. Pancreatic juice pH is approximately 6.8, and daily our pancreas secretes 500 to 800 ml of this juice. Okay, 500 to 800 ml of this juice is secreted, and 99% are acne and 1% are islets. These islets are known as islet of Langerhans. They constitute the endocrine part and they secrete many hormones like glucagon, insulin, somatostatin. They secrete many hormones and enzymes. Okay, so 1% is islet and 99% is acne. Now pancreatitis is inflammation of pancreas. Inflammation in pancreas is known as pancreatitis. Clear? So now the islet. We have about 1 million islets. Humans have about 1 million islets. They are most numerous in the tail region. Okay, see here. This green one is the duct. Green one is the duct, main duct of pancreas, known as duct of Wirsung. Okay, and see, these are acne cells. Acne cells. These are acne cells which contributes to the exocrine part. Okay, means they are glands with duct. And this one, these things are known as endocrine. These small things, this one, these are endocrine part. Okay, so now types of cells in the endocrine part. First one is alpha cells. Okay, alpha cells, see this blue colored cell, see blue colored cell, this one, this blue colored cell, they are alpha cells. Alpha cell constitute 15%. Alpha cell constitute 15% of the total islet, and they are found near the periphery. Periphery is the sides. Periphery is the sides. They are found near the sides. They produce a diabetogenic hormone. Genic means genesis. Okay, so create. Diabetogenic means this hormone can create diabetes. Diabetogenic hormone known as glucagon. Okay, so remember, glucagon is a diabetogenic hormone. Glucagon is a diabetogenic hormone which converts glycogen. Okay, this is the glycogen into glucose. Glucagon converts glycogen into glucose in liver. Okay, and muscle cells. In liver and muscle cells, glucagon converts glycogen and glucose. And glucagon is secreted by alpha cells. Clear? So next type of cell is beta cells. They constitute 65% of the total islet and they are found in the middle part. So see this white color things, these are beta cells. Okay, now they produce insulin. Insulin hormone converts glucose into glycogen in liver and muscle. See, just opposite of glucagon. Okay, So if you remember one thing, glucagon, if you remember this sentence that glucagon converts glycogen into glucose in liver and muscle cells, then you can opposite it in insulin. Okay, you can write the opposite. So just remember anyone, either glucagon or insulin. I prefer glucagon because it is easy. Glucagon converts glycogen into glucose in liver and muscle cells. Okay, now you can opposite, you can tell the opposite as insulin, that insulin converts glucose into glycogen in liver and muscle cells. Okay, now deficiency of insulin causes diabetes. Actually this glucagon and insulin maintains the blood sugar level. Okay, and imbalance in this causes diabetes. Okay, so now there are the third type of cell known as delta cell. They constitute 5% and generally found in the periphery. So delta cell is this orange one, this small orange one. This is delta cell, and they secrete somatostatin, SS hormone, somatostatin or SS hormone, which inhibits the secretion of glucagon by alpha cell and insulin by beta cell. Okay, it excites the alpha cell and beta cell to release glucagon and insulin respectively. So till now we got two somatostatin. One was from the enteroendocrine cell of the stomach, also known as gastrin cell or G cell or argentafin cell, and that somatostatin actually suppress the release of hormones from digestive tract. And now we also got another somatostatin which is secreted by the islet of Langerhans in the pancreas. It actually inhibits the secretion of glucagon by alpha cell and insulin by beta cells. Now there is one more somatostatin. The third somatostatin is secreted by hypothalamus of the brain. Okay, hypothalamus of the brain. It inhibits the secretion of growth hormone. Okay, growth hormone secretin. Secretin is a growth hormone, and this somatostatin of the hypothalamus actually inhibits the secretion of growth hormone secretin. Therefore somatostatin is also known as growth inhibitory hormone. Okay, somatostatin is also known as growth inhibitory hormone. Clear? So in the brain part we will discuss it in our neural control and coordination, but just remember this somatostatin and gastric somatostatin. Clear? This is pancreatic somatostatin and that was gastric somatostatin. Now the next is pancreatic polypeptide. They constitute 15%. As the name suggests, they secrete pancreatic polypeptide, PP. Okay, and PP helps in release of pancreatic juices. PP helps in release of pancreatic juices. PP actually stimulates the acne. PP stimulates the acne cells. Okay, now constituent of this pancreatic juice, what pancreatic juice contains? It contains sodium bicarbonate, 3 proenzymes. If you remember, proenzymes are primitive enzymes or inactive form of enzymes, or zymogen are known as proenzymes. Now pancreas secrete 3 proenzymes. They are trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen, procarboxypeptidase. Trypsinogen is converted into trypsin, chymotrypsinogen is converted into chymotrypsin, procarboxypeptidase is converted into carboxypeptidase. Now trypsinogen has autocatalytic property. That means they can synthesize themselves. Means once some amount of trypsinogen is converted into trypsin, then this trypsin converts the rest of trypsinogen and chymotrypsinogen and procarboxypeptidase. Don't worry about it, we will discuss it in our next video, physiology of digestion. So in stomach we got 2 zymogen or proenzymes. They were prorenin and pepsinogen, and pepsinogen has autocatalytic property. In pancreas we got 3 proenzymes. They are trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen, procarboxypeptidase. Amongst them trypsin has autocatalytic property. Okay, now this also secretes some enzymes. It contains some enzymes like elastase. Elastase act on the protein elastin. Pancreatic alpha amylase means pancreatic amylase and pancreatic lipase. So we got first salivary amylase from the salivary gland, then gastric amylase from the gastric gland, and pancreatic amylase and pancreatic lipase from the pancreatic gland. Clear? Also secrete DNase and RNase. DNase and RNase acts on DNA and RNA respectively. Okay, clear? Next hepatopancreatic duct. See, the right hepatic duct, from here the right hepatic duct comes, from here the left hepatic duct comes, together form this one, the common hepatic duct. Okay, now gallbladder has the duct known as cystic duct with the common hepatic duct, together forms a common bile duct. This one is the common bile duct. This common bile duct has the sphincter of Boyden. See here, this is bile duct, this is the sphincter of Boyden. This one is the sphincter of Boyden. Now sphincter of Boyden opens into an ampulla known as ampulla of Vater. Okay, ampulla of Vater. Actually Abraham Vater. It is named after Abraham Vater, a German anatomist. Okay, this ampulla is also known as hepatopancreatic ampulla because duct from hepa or liver comes and duct from pancreas comes and together forms the ampulla, therefore known as hepatopancreatic duct ampulla. And in this hepatopancreatic ampulla, all the juices mixed up, and through the sphincter of Oddi, named after Rugario Oddi was an Italian physiologist. So through the sphincter of Oddi, it releases into the duodenum. Okay, hepatic juice and pancreatic juice both releases into the duodenum through the sphincter of Oddi. And the accessory pancreatic duct or duct of Santorini opens about 2.5 centimeter, 2 to 2.5 centimeter above this hepatopancreatic duct. Okay, okay, clear. Now sphincter is a ring of circular muscle which allows the entry or exit of any material. Clear. So there are two sphincters. Okay, one is sphincter of Boyden which guards the common bile duct. After common bile duct, the sphincter of Boyden guards it, and then it opens into the common hepatopancreatic ampulla. Okay, and in hepatopancreatic duct, the main duct of pancreas also comes. Okay, then both the juices mixed up together in the hepatopancreatic ampulla or ampulla of Vater. Then through the sphincter of Oddi, they released into the duodenum. Clear? So now intestinal gland. Our intestines has also gland. There are two types of gland. Basically, one is crypts, the crypt of liver cone. Okay, the crypt have small cells. Okay, crypt. Now see, these are the villi part and the villi and the lower portion of the villi. These parts are known as crypt. They are intestinal glands. Now these has some cells. The most prominent are Pannis cell. They are most numerous in duodenum and found in the bottom of the crypt. They also secrete lysozyme. Lysozyme is antibacterial. Lysozyme kills microbe. They are capable of phagocytic. Pannis cell capable of phagocytosis. So see here, this is the Pannis cell. Okay, they are found at the base. This is the Pannis cell. Now there are argentaffin cell. So there are argentaffin cell in the stomach, also in the intestine. They secrete hormone synthesis, secretin hormone. They synthesize secretin hormone. Okay, see this enteric endocrine cell or enteroendocrine cells are the argentaffin cells. There are stem cells or progenitor cells. Okay, stem cells or progenitor cells which replace the worn out cell. Goblet cells or mucus cells which mucosify the walls. Then villus. Okay, villus has the epithelial cells which has tiny projection known as microvilli. These are villus absorption cells. Okay, now after crypts there is Brunner's gland. These glands are found in duodenum only. They secrete very little enzymes and mucus. Okay, now these glands also open into the crypt. These glands also opens into the crypt. Clear? Means see, this is the crypt and these glands are like this and it opens into the crypt. Okay, now some minor glands. The tongue has lingual gland which secrete both mucus and watery fluid which contains lingual lipase which acts on triglyceride. The fats which we consume are mostly composed of triglycerides, and this lingual lipase actually digests 20% 20% of the fats in stomach and intestines. Okay, now there are labial glands of the lips, buccal glands of the cheeks, and palatine glands of the palate. Okay, these also secrete some amount of saliva and mucus. Clear? Now the saliva also contains lysozyme, okay, which is antibacterial. And I forgot to mention that mumps is a pathetic condition in child when the salivary gland becomes swollen due to virus. Okay, due to attack of virus, the salivary gland increases its size, becomes swollen, and it causes pain. It generally occurs in child. Okay, so these were some minor gland. So with this we have ended our video. So please like, share and subscribe and help me on my journey. So today we have completely discussed about the anatomy of digestive tract as well as the digestive glands. Okay, now in the next video it is going to be the main physiology of digestion. Okay, clear? Till then, stay well.